the next category, which was virtual spokespeople. And so, in the metaverse, people have seen avatars, people interact as avatars. These avatars are getting more and more realistic. And within 5 to 10 years, they'll be photorealistic. They'll look like real people. Mm-hmm. And advertisers will have AI-controlled avatars that have a promotional agenda, that are going to engage you in promotional conversation to sell you something. And so, and it can happen in two different ways. One would be passive and one would be active. So passive would be, okay, I'm walking down the street and I see that parked car, and then there are two people standing in front of it talking about that car, right? Talking about how great, they just bought this new car and how great it is. And I might think that those are just other users in the metaverse and not realize, like, no, those are virtual spokespeople placed into this world for me to observe and just overhear. I might overhear them as I'm walking by. I might overhear them, in a virtual elevator. I might overhear. So you get the idea. Or they could actually engage me in conversation. And so the final and probably most persuasive form of advertising in the metaverse will be promotional conversation, where an avatar engages you in conversation. They start to ask you, what kind of car do you drive? How do you like it? Have you heard about this car? And it can be a very persuasive form of advertising, because it's drawing you in, but also because these large technology platforms will have access to personal data about you. So the conversation will be custom crafted based on your interests and your background and your previous purchases. And that, again, becomes dangerous. It can become manipulative. And the last piece of this is that in the metaverse, platforms will be tracking so many different things about what you do. They'll track where you are and where you go, but they can also be looking at your facial expressions and your vocal inflections. And so if you are engaging this virtual spokesperson and it's detecting your emotions from your face and your voice and your posture, it could adjust its tactics in real time to persuade you. And again, that's a place where I think there should be regulations in place that prevent metaverse platforms from selling advertisements that are using personal data and using your emotional data to adjust in real time to influence you. It's I understand why advertisers want to do it. But the way I look at it is, if an AI can, beat the world's best chess player or the world's best Go player or poker player, like what's the chance a consumer has if you're engaged with this virtual spokesperson that has a history of, your interests and likes and is reading your emotions? It will be able to manipulate you to buy things that you don't need or believe things that aren't true. And so it really does require regulations and policies and guardrails to protect consumers.
This is mind-blowing. I mean, I'm just imagining this as you're saying, and word of mouth and, conversations and reviews. I mean, all that is like another level, and this is like another level. Because again, like you said, in the VPP also, and you have coined these two terms of how to categorize marketing in the metaverse. So, you are sitting duck. And so the experience of listening from other people, and again, your guards can be down because you think it's people talking about it. And having no idea, but also it makes me feel that very soon, when people realize this is how it is, the trust deficit that already exists can also move up, because you'll be so guarded. I mean, even if a genuine conversation is happening, you're like, oh, there's an agenda, and they know all about me, and they're saying because they're trying to manipulate me. And the sooner the marketers put the guardrails, the better it is, because then they don't have to pass that, I shouldn't call it milestone, but that obstacle that is very natural to happen because the trust deficit is already there so much.
So it's a great point. And it's one of the reasons why I personally think that regulation is good for the industry. It's good for the platforms. It's good for the marketing industry, because without regulation, there will be this large distrust, because you won't be able to trust what you see and hear and experience in the metaverse. You won't be able to tell the difference between what's authentic and what's been placed there in a targeted way for you to experience, for you to come across. And we've seen what happened in social media with the loss of trust, and it's hurt these big brands. It's hurt advertising in social media. It's created all kinds of problems where it spreads disinformation and polarizes populations, because people are being tracked and profiled and targeted, and they don't even know when they're being targeted and when something is actually authentic content. And in the metaverse, same things will happen, but they will happen in even more hidden ways, because the whole point of virtual reality and augmented reality is to fool the senses. It's to blur the boundaries between what's real and what's fake. And if marketeers can use that to their advantage, it will, like you said, create this even larger trust deficit, and that could taint the industry, taint the entire space, just like it has in social media. One of the things that, in addition to facial recognition and voice, in the metaverse, they'll very likely will be tracking vital signs, blood pressure, respiration rate, heart rate, and smartwatches already do this.
All biometrics.
But in the metaverse, it'll actually be earbuds and headsets that track blood pressure, respiration, and they're going to use that to sense your emotion. If you are a customer and you're interacting with an advertisement that's reading your blood pressure and adjusting in real time, do you feel like that's predatory? You probably do.